Before, mention pickups and you'd imagine the owners to look like this.
Ha? Ngô làm xì làm cấp bên wanya bằng kiểu cây bên lề.
Or like this. Nah, you don't need so much cement to fill an oil barrel, man. But that mindset has changed. In the last 20 years, we've gotten an African American for a US president. Stealing money doesn't require a gun or even a bank anymore. Just start a shell company. Now you get all sorts of people climbing out of these things, looking like this, or like this. And with this new Triton in particular, I guess you kind of get why, don't you? I think it's one of the best looking Mitsubishi pickups to date. Maybe even the best looking pickup to date. Wow, I can already feel all the comments flooding in. I just had to say it, man. I mean, come on, look at it and tell me that does not look good at the very minimum. You all should know by now that Mitsubishi calls this face the Dynamic Shield. You've seen it on the Outlander, the Eclipse Cross, the new Expander and even the new Delica. But I think the Triton just wears this look the best. It looks futuristic and muscular at the same time with these slim headlamps and these haunches right here, which I feel is the most appealing aspect to the Triton's exterior. It almost looks like a muscular bouncer with a very nicely trimmed beard. Not like this guy's. In this high-spec 135,000 ringgit Adventure X model, you even get these LED daytime running lights flowing along the housing of the headlamps with bi-LED projectors. The other models, however, only get halogen projector headlamps. The headlamps in itself, Mitsubishi says, has been moved up 100mm to now stand at 700mm off the ground. This offers better ground clearance, especially during the flood. On the side, wheel options range from 16-inch to 18-inch in size. In this Adventure X model in particular, along with the premium automatic model, you get these 18-inch dual-tone alloys, which I think is the best looking among those offered. Elsewhere, you also get smart entry with a push-start button inside and a new side step design that just seems like it's inviting you into the cabin. And at the back, you get a completely new rear-end design with these new taillights and LEDs running from the top to the bottom of the light fixture. The bottom end of the tailgate is now a little more squarish, a change from the old Triton's swoop towards the edge, something I've always thought to be the Triton's signature look. Whether or not it looks good is entirely up to you. I personally think it looks very robust, but whether or not this squarish look will withstand the test of time, we'll just have to wait a few years and see. Despite how modern and futuristic the Triton looks, this does not feel like it. You still get these ropes supporting this rather heavy tailgate here. Let's face it, not every pickup owner have big, strong arms. Perhaps having dampers instead of these things right here would help soften the opening of the tailgate and make it easier for you to close it. Getting into the car, the first thing you notice is how supportive and comfortable these seats are, especially in the rib section. It makes you feel hugged in. Sit in the car a little longer and you kind of notice the attention that Mitsubishi has paid in making this car feel more passenger car-like rather than a pickup, especially with these soft touch surfaces on the door panels and by the knee section. At the front, you're greeted by a steering that looks similar to the one found in the Outlander PHEV in the foreign markets, with a blend of leather and chrome for a rather elegant look. Look further ahead and you'll see column-mounted pedal shifters, which I feel is a lot more convenient than the ones mounted onto the steering wheel. It just makes things a lot less confusing when you're trying to change gears while turning the steering at the same time. Looking further ahead and you'll see the automatic wiper and headlamp feature along with the automatic high beam button. What's new to the car is the forward collision mitigation button placed in the corner there, which bundles the forward collision warning and automatic emergency braking system. The Triton also comes with a whole list of safety features, which includes the lane change assist, blind spot warning, rear cross traffic alert, and the ultrasonic misacceleration mitigation system for the front and the rear. You know, in case you accidentally want to run into a wall in front of you or reverse into your child. Up front here, you now get a sound system with Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility, although if I must point out something, I feel like the display for the reverse camera could be a little clearer. And speaking of display, the display in itself could be a little larger. What's also new to the Triton is this button here for the rear aircon vents. and this new gear shifter design. The coolest new addition to this Triton has to be this knob right here to access the new Super Select 2 4-wheel drive system. Briefly speaking, this system now allows you to switch to 4-wheel drive while on the go up to speeds of 100 km an hour without the usual side effects of a 4-wheel drive system, such as your wheels glitching when you're coming out of a junction at low speeds, because the center differential is now not locked, unlike in the old 4-wheel drive systems, allowing each and every individual wheel to spin at different speeds. Like the Super Select system, the other first-in-class feature offered in this new Triton is the off-road mode, which caters to 4 different driving conditions: mud, snow, gravel and sand. Having driven the car for a few days, I noticed a couple of details that kind of affected my driving experience a little. For one, the switches here for the power windows by the driver door are not lit during the night, so trying to locate them can be a bit of a challenge. Secondly, the front bonnet is rather flat, so trying to park the car in tight spaces can be quite a bit of a challenge, so just be mindful of that. Back here, as you can see, leg and headroom is reasonable, I would say, for someone who is 180 centimeters tall. And although Mitsubishi has highlighted that these seats are a little more reclined, realistically, yeah, definitely you don't sit as upright as before, but I would describe it as sitting on a reclined AirAsia seat at best. The biggest highlight in the back seat though has to be these air vents here. They're not actual air conditioning units, but essentially they suck in air from the front and blow it out through these vents here. What you can do though is adjust the fan speed for the blower. That being said, according to my family's input, having fetched them around over the weekend, they did highlight that it does get a bit noisy once you put the fan speed to the highest. But because the rear air vents are now on the ceiling, they've been able to free up more space in the center console to accommodate your smartphone, along with 2 USB ports here. So with all the dramatic aesthetic changes on the outside, what's it like on the inside, from behind the wheel? If you ask me, a few things come to mind. The first thing is how plush it feels. With all the added paddings on the knee and by the door, along with these comfortable seats, it makes me feel like I'm in a large D-segment sedan instead, with larger wheels and higher ground clearance. And like I said earlier, these seats, I really like them. Me especially being made out of skin and bones, I'm really sensitive to these kind of things. And for these particular seats, I must say, they're alright. And then when you're setting off, you notice the difference in the way this thing delivers its power. Before, in the previous model, you notice a very profound turbo surge. But with this updated model, Mitsubishi has given it a 6th gear, which they believe optimizes the performance of the 2.4-litre turbo diesel Maybach engine with a 181 horsepower and 430 Nm of torque. And from where I'm sitting, power delivery does feel a lot more linear. If anything, it feels like a big CC naturally aspirated vehicle instead of a turbocharged one. It's surprisingly responsive and in sync to your throttle input as well. But if there's one criticism to this whole experience, I would say it's the engine noise. When you really plant your foot down, it's just a little too loud. It sounds a bit too harsh as well. It kind of contradicts the whole plushness and refinement that they're trying to achieve in this cabin. Mitsubishi said the Triton's damping has been improved with larger diameter rear absorbers along with retuned coil and leaf springs. Brakes have also been beefed up with larger disc and calipers. And from behind the wheel, the difference is quite noticeable. Not only is brake feel quite progressive, but especially for such a big and heavy vehicle, that gives me a lot of assurance. Have you ever tried braking real hard all of a sudden in such a big vehicle? It's damn scary, man. You're carrying so much forward momentum, it just feels like you're never gonna brake in time. But the brakes on this one, they're okay. Now, the other thing, the ride. Let's just say, no matter what they do, if it's on leaf springs, there's only so much comfort you're gonna get. Going through the uneven patches on the road, there's this unpleasant vibration that you feel throughout the car. Like every other pickup, just to what degree? But I will say, it does feel more composed when you're driving at higher speeds, with noticeably less body roll around the bends. On the same topic, when I got to speak with one of Mitsubishi's chief product specialists, Mr. Masuda, I jokingly asked him if they would ever consider adopting coil springs in the future because of the increased emphasis in comfort. And he actually told me that they've been debating about this internally for a while now. But research has shown that people still buy pickups for specific reasons, like carrying cargo obviously. And unfortunately, leaf springs are just more robust for that very purpose compared to coil springs. And I don't disagree. You buy a pickup mainly because you want to carry things, not carry people. Or maybe you just want to look cool. Or in the case of this Triton, you want to look cool while carrying things. But if your intention is to offer passengers comfort, for 135,000, I can think of so many other options out there, like the Subaru XV for example, or the Mazda CX-5. Fantastic SUVs. Now to the most important question, why should you buy this new Triton over say the Ranger or the Hilux or any other pickups for that matter? If you ask me personally, it will be down to 3 reasons. The way it looks obviously, the way it drives, and the safety features, which I feel is quite important for a car this big. Those will be the reasons why I buy this new Triton, if I ever own a pickup, which I won't, because driving something so big in urban roads, which are all narrow mostly, causes unnecessary stress. I don't like stress. So, as is always the question, is this new updated Triton the pickup for you? I don't know. Go try it out. But I'm very sure you wouldn't be disappointed or underwhelmed even. For more information on the new Mitsubishi Triton, do log on to AutoBuzz.my. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, share it, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon for the latest notifications on our newest videos. What's wrong? Sorry, from the top. Cut. Oh, what's wrong with the lines, man? God, give me 5 seconds, man.